Andy Farrell keeps Ireland's number 10 debate wide open as Six Nations focus sharpens in Portugal. Andy Farrell arrived in Portugal this week with his Ireland squad, and one question followed him all the way to Quinta Lago, who will steer the ship against France on February 5. The Irish head coach did not offer a definitive answer, and that was very much the point. As Ireland began their warm weather training camp in the Algarve, Farrell made it clear that the battle for the number 10 jersey remains unresolved heading into the 2026 Six Nations opener in Paris. With Jack Crowley, Sam Prendergast, Byrne, and Ciaran Frawley all in camp, the competition to run Ireland's attack against the tournament favorites is one of the most compelling storylines of the pre-championship build-up. The decision to decamp to Portugal has already been vindicated. Back home, Storm Chundra left large parts of Dublin drenched, forcing provincial teams indoors or onto waterlogged pitches. Instead, Farrell's squad trained in sunshine, working through tactical and conditioning sessions without the disruption of winter weather, a small but significant advantage at this stage of preparation. Ireland have made the Algarve a familiar base in recent years, and Farrell believes the environment is ideal for fostering clarity, competition, and connection within the group. With less than 2 weeks to go until they face France at the Stade de France, every detail matters to four contenders. One jersey, the fly-half conversation has dominated Irish rugby discourse since the Investec Champions Cup pool stages concluded, and Farrell has done little to dampen the speculation. Munster's Jack Crowley and Leinster's Sam Prendergast were the headline acts during Ireland's November internationals, starting 2 matches each across the 4-game program. Both impressed in different ways. Crowley with his control and maturity, Prendergast with his ambition and attacking instincts. But neither has yet nailed down the role beyond doubt. Now, Byrne is back in the mix after a strong run of winter form for Leinster, while Ciaran Frawley remains a trusted option despite spending much of his recent provincial rugby at fullback. Speaking to Virgin Media before the midweek revelation that Bundy Aki had been dropped from the squad for disciplinary reasons, Farrell explained why the decision would not be rushed. "It's only right that I stay open-minded about it all," Farrell said. "You have to see how people compete against each other and how they deal with that type of pressure. That's pretty important. We 4 guys in camp that can do the job for Ireland. It's just down to who's going to take the bull by the horns and run with it. We'll stay open-minded on that one." Farrell acknowledged that Crowley and Prendergast have carried much of the spotlight, and he welcomed the intensity of the competition rather than viewing it as a problem. "The 2 lads that everyone has been talking about for a good time, and rightly so, Jack and Sam. It's nice to have the 4 of them competing," he added. "It will only bring out the best in them." That sense of internal pressure is deliberate. Farrell wants a fly half who can thrive under scrutiny, particularly against a French side that dismantled Ireland in Dublin last season. Got lessons from a disrupted Six Nations. Ireland enter the 2026 championship in unfamiliar territory. For the first time in several years, they are not widely regarded as favorites or even joint favorites to lift the trophy. Last season's Six Nations campaign fell short of expectations. Farrell took a sabbatical in 2025 to focus on his role as British and Irish Lions head coach ahead of the tour to Australia, leaving assistant Simon Easterby to step into the interim head coach role. While Ireland remained competitive, their ambition of a 3rd consecutive title unraveled in round 4, when France delivered a bruising defeat at the Aviva Stadium. That loss proved decisive, and Ireland were unable to recover momentum. The hangover extended into the Autumn Nations Series, where defeats to both New Zealand and South Africa highlighted areas that still need sharpening. Those results contributed to Ireland slipping to 4th in the World Rugby rankings, a symbolic shift that underlines the challenge ahead. Farrell, however, is unmoved by external narratives. "If you're asking me where can we get to, we can get to that type of place 100%, he said when asked about Ireland's title prospects. "What's the point if you didn't have the ambition to do that? In that period in 2023 and 2024, we played some pretty special rugby. Are we aiming to do any less? No, we're not." Balancing ambition with transition. One of the defining features of Ireland's current squad is its blend of experience and renewal. There are 16 players in camp with fewer than 10 international caps, a clear sign that Farrell is accelerating the next phase of squad evolution. That transition is not without risk, particularly in a tournament as unforgiving as the Six Nations, but Farrell sees it as essential if Ireland are to remain competitive at the highest level. We need to get experience into the squad, he explained. Everyone has to go through the learnings to say where it is we're trying to get to. We're trying to be the best we possibly can be, and that's at the top of world rugby. The head coach was adamant that development would not come at the expense of competitiveness. We want to win every game, he said. We're sure that we don't want to throw anything. We want to be as competitive as we can. I've never been a coach who shies away from saying, hopefully we're good enough to finish second or third. Of course, we'll learn from every experience, but we still want to win. Other teams will be saying that as well. Team over individual brilliance. Farrell returned repeatedly to one core theme: collective strength. While acknowledging that some rival nations may boast greater individual athleticism, he stressed that Ireland's success has always been built on cohesion, intelligence, and shared purpose. I always believe that the strength of the team is showing each other that you can be better than the individual things, he said. We need to prove to ourselves that we're able to go beyond our own expectations. And that has to be the ambition. There's no point in being average. We class ourselves as being all in it together. We might not have the individual brilliance of some countries in terms of athletes, but we're smart, we're skillful, we're fit. All of that adds up to being a good team. Those comments felt particularly pointed given France's physical dominance in recent meetings. Ireland know they cannot outmuscle the French pack for 80 minutes, but they remain convinced that accuracy, tempo, and decision-making can tilt the balance. That brings the focus squarely back to the fly half role, and why Farrell is unwilling to commit too early to injury headaches and depth concerns. Not everything has gone smoothly in the build-up. Ireland's loose head prop stocks have taken a significant hit, with Andrew Porter, Paddy McCarthy, and Jack Boyle all sidelined in recent weeks. The timing is far from ideal, particularly with France boasting one of the most destructive front rows in world rugby. Managing the scrum battle in Paris will be a major concern for the coaching staff. Nevertheless, Farrell remains confident that the wider squad can absorb the setbacks, pointing again to the importance of depth and adaptability. A new unit emerges. Edwin Idogbo, among the three uncapped players brought to Portugal, is Munster lock Edwin Idogbo, a forward whose physical presence has long caught the attention of the national selectors. Petite 120 kilograms and blessed with explosive power, Idogbo offers something different to Ireland's existing second-row options. His progress has been interrupted by injury, but his recent impact off the bench for Munster convinced Farrell that now was the right time to involve him. Edwin is someone we've looked at for quite some time, Farrell said. There's been a bit of stop-start stuff with injuries, and it's the same for a few others, but you can see the impact he's had. Certainly when he's been coming off the bench, how powerful and dynamic he is. It's super exciting to get to work with him. Whether Idogbo features during the Six Nations remains to be seen, but his inclusion signals Farrell's intent to broaden Ireland's physical profile, particularly against heavyweight opponents. The Paris test looms as training continues in Portugal. The pressure will steadily increase. Every session, every drill, and every decision will be viewed through the lens of the France opener. Farrell may insist he is open-minded, but the clock is ticking. A call will have to be made at fly half, and whoever earns the nod will carry not only tactical responsibility, but symbolic weight in a campaign that could define Ireland's next cycle. Ireland are no longer the hunted, but they remain ambitious, motivated, and quietly confident that they can reclaim their place at the top table of world rugby. And when they run out in Paris on February 5th, the man wearing the number 10 jersey will know exactly what Farrell expects: composure under pressure, clarity of thought, and the courage to take the game by the scruff of the neck. The competition is fierce. That, in Farrell's eyes, is precisely how it should be.